Carlos Peña, and this is another episode of Plakata Nation. And I'm joined by the one and only, mi primo querido, desde el Bronx, Cuz Rod. What's going on,
Woo!
my man?
You know what it is. Welcome back, everyone, to the Plakata Nation podcast, coming to you live and direct from the best field ever, my home. No, just lying.
Nice studio you
Where
got
it's-
going there, brother.
I have a beautiful. I love my background. You know what I mean. I'm trying to be fancy and trying to bring it up, but you know what? I'm super excited to be here, and we're both excited to bring this episode because we're talking about postseason awards. We got some awards handed out already. Rookie of the Years, we got it to Julio Rodriguez. We got the help me out here with the National League Award,
Michael
Rookie of the
Harris,
Year,
damn.
Michael Harris, who edged out his teammate
Yes.
the pitcher Spencer Strider. So that was exciting there. Manager of the Year, we have for the AL, we have Tito Francona. For the NL, we got Buck Showalter. Cy Young, we got Justin Verlander for the American League. And then for the National League, we got our mans from DR, Sandy Alcantara. Exciting stuff, Carlos. I know you interviewed J-Rod there for a bit. Real cool dude. I really enjoyed that little interview you gave him. I know how excited people back home in DR are of this dude winning it, as they are for Sandy Alcantara winning his respective award. But you know what? The award that I want to talk about is the award that everybody around baseball and here primarily in the Bronx in New York we're all excited about. It's my man's the MVP, the American League record home run hitting Aaron Judge, MVP. Big ups.
Yeah. Oh, man, you're pumped. You're really
I'm
pumped about this.
hyped. I'm hyped, bro. I'm hyped. The guy deserves it. The year he had, the massive home runs he hit, but not even
Yeah.
that, Carlos. It was the timely hitting. The guy, when the team needed the run, the hit, the single, the double, the amazing catch in right field, the amazing catch in center field, the timely hits this guy did. He was the Yankees offense the entire year. When I think of MVP, it's Judge. That's it, man. What are
Yeah,
your thoughts on that?
no, I 100% agree. I mean, this is one of those things where we were talking about it a lot during the year at the network and everywhere because of the situation with Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah,
Shohei does both things. Pitches at an elite level, but also hits like a champ as well. So it's very difficult, contender to go against. However, what Aaron Judge was able to do, this is not just sentimental. We're not talking about like, oh, he broke the record, that's why it's given to him, but Shohei Ohtani is still the MVP because of what he does. Hold up a second, because when we look at the
yeah,
WAR number, if you want to get really technical about it, let's
yeah,
just be objective about the situation. The WAR number is an
yeah,
approximation, yes, but it's taking into consideration all facets of what the player brings to a ball club, right? As a matter of fact, it's wins above replacement. That's basically
placement.
what it means. How many
Yeah,
wins do you add to your ball club just by being present, by showing up and being yourself, rather than
yes,
a maybe average player? Let's put it that way, as simple as that.
yeah,
Guess what? We're looking at that, and we look at the numbers: 10.6 WAR for Aaron Judge. That means he's a 10. Let's round it up, 11 win player
yeah,
for the Yankees. And Shohei Ohtani, it's a 10 win player. Is that a big difference? No, but if we want to get technical, he does edges Shohei Ohtani, and you have to know that those pitching numbers weigh a lot. So they
yeah,
weigh a lot, and for Judge to be able to eclipse Ohtani by just being a hitter and a defensive ball player, because defensive metrics do count in this WAR number, is still remarkable. So
yeah,
very well deserved. Doesn't matter how you look at it. You can look at it objectively. You could look at it
yeah,
through sabermetrics. You could look at it subjectively, which is the easiest one. He was there when his team needed him the most. He
yeah,
posted. He came through, right? And then made plays on the field, ran the bases. He was the complete package for the Yankees. So to me, this was easier than many
clear
people
cut.
were making it out to be. I mean, to me, my vote was going to go to Aaron Judge regardless.
Yeah,
And this is what I'm going to say. All right, I want you to tell me about this because I'm trying to campaign for this. Let's have another
right.
award. Let's go ahead and have the most outstanding player award.
I
Okay,
agree.
maybe a most outstanding player award. We figure out what those numbers that are going to be considered are, and we're going to be extremely objective about that. and we get a most outstanding player award. You
I
can win
agree.
both. You could be most outstanding player award,
Yeah.
objective, numbers, everything. Then you have MVP where you can be a little bit more subjective. All right. And you could be the most outstanding player and also the MVP. But sometimes maybe you could have an MVP
You
for
could
Aaron
split it.
Judge
You
and
could
then
split. You could split it.
most
Yeah.
outstanding player for Shohei Ohtani. Well, Shohei plays for I know this is a big one for you. Doesn't play for a
Yeah.
winning ball club. Can you tell me
Does
about
not.
that? Because you were really adamant on this.
Yeah, and not to take anything away from Shohei. Shohei is an amazing talent. All we hear and all we see is, we haven't seen anything like this done since Babe freaking Ruth. Like, that's amazing that we have a guy pitching at this high level and hitting at this high level. But okay, he does two things: pitching and hitting. He does them very, very well. Okay, but when you look at his team is in the basement perennially
Yeah,
every year, and this is a
yeah,
team that features Mike Trout. So my thing is, like, how can I objectively be okay with giving a most valuable player award to a guy where if you take him off this team, they're still in last place? You take Aaron Judge off of the Yankees. Yankees won the AL East division. They would be in last place. They would, because he
yeah.
is literally like 80% of that team's offense. He counts for that much. So I'm adamant about that. And again, not to take anything away from Shohei, but I just don't think he deserved the MVP this year. Not the way that that Aaron Judge was playing this year. Not at the level that he was playing this year. And I know last year Shohei won it, and rightfully so. And he had a better year than he did last year. This year, that's 100%. That's 100% accurate. Regardless, though, what Aaron Judge did this year, with his team, where he carried his team to victory after victory, you cannot ignore that. You just cannot. And I do agree with you that they should have another award, maybe like you said, a most outstanding player or player of the year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I could see how people may brush back on that, because then it'd be like, oh well, that's taking away value from the
Uh,
MVP.
no, 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 no. But I don't think so. I mean, think about this, Rod. Look, last year,
Hmm.
and I've been clear with this. I thought the MVP was Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
I agreed with that
Why?
too.
Because Toronto Blue Jays had a shot solely because of what he did on the field, or a
Yeah,
big part. It had a lot to do with that incredible performance, right?
yeah,
Now, that's MVP because I'm using subjectivity here. Most valuable player. What does that
yeah.
mean? Okay, the player that actually added a lot of value to a team that had value. But
Yes.
maybe we're looking at the Angels that did not have the value that they were expecting. Now
No.
Shohei Ohtani was the most outstanding player. You see, so they don't walk out empty-handed. And
Okay,
I'm
I
gonna
see
take
what
it.
you get.
I'm gonna take it. So it's not a pat on the back like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. last year gets a pat on the back. Hey, great
Hmm.
year, but the MVP is Shohei Ohtani. I would love to see, and that's not entirely true. He got other awards, Silver Slugger awards, Hank
Yeah,
Aaron award that's out there as well. But overall, I do believe that we need a most outstanding player award, and maybe we can really put a stats to them, weighted stats. Doesn't have to be
yeah,
the WAR
yeah.
winner. It could we could come up with something different where we have more conventional stats mixed in with some
Yes.
advanced stats, and that's the most outstanding player award right there. Now think about this further. What does it mean for a player's career and ability to go out there and negotiate when they say,
Oof.
"Yeah, I have two most outstanding player awards, and one MVP." For example, it could be Otani could be saying that instead of saying,
Yeah,
or Vladimir Guerrero Jr. could say, "Yeah, I won a most outstanding player. Maybe I didn't win the MVP, or vice versa." I
yeah.
think we're taking money out of these guys'
Out of
pocket by
players.
not
Yeah, I
having
agree.
that award. I think teams could use, well, players could use that award
Players
to
could
their
use it.
advantage, and teams
Yeah.
do not certainly want that. But I think it would be great for baseball. But anyways, Aaron
And
Judge MVP. I'm good with that. Absolutely.
another thing to add to Aaron Judge's year is, he didn't get a Gold Glove award, but that's because he split time at center field and right field. I truly, truly believe if he stayed in right field, he would be a Gold Glove winner. That's how good of a year he had. He would have won a Golden Glove. He won the MVP. He won a Silver Slugger award. The guy, he brought it, man. He brought it. And this is such a big year for him because this is a contract year. At the beginning of the season, the Yankees offered him a big deal. I think it was the biggest deal they've ever offered. No, no, I don't think it was a big deal because I think they had paid A-Rod more. But it was one of the biggest deals they ever offered. to a position player, and he turned it down. So he went into this season essentially betting on himself, betting
Yeah,
that he can really, really do well. And I mean, my man went into the casino and hit big. He hit
yeah.
big. And now, Carlos, we're at the point where, guess what? It's negotiation time. Carlos, let me ask you, man. Does Aaron Judge return to the Yankees?
I think he does, Rod, and because the Yankees organization, yeah, be pumped up about that. It remains to be seen if it materializes,
Yeah.
but this is the thing. The Yankees understand what Aaron Judge brings to the table, not only as a player, but I don't even know if I should say most importantly, everything else. Like
Yes.
from a business standpoint, to have Aaron Judge back in pinstripes is a huge move, business move for the Yankees. If he goes out there, as you do these deals, you start thinking to yourself, how is Aaron Judge going to perform? Do I expect him to hit 60 again? No. But what you try to do is you try to kind of mitigate risk and say to yourself, would I be content if he goes out there and hits 35? Is that a pretty good risk? Yeah, at 35 home runs, driving in 100 runs, getting on base at the clip that he gets on base on, playing the great defense that he plays. We have a player that I'm willing to pay for, and then everything else that comes with Aaron Judge is good business for the Yankees. So that's
Yeah.
number one. I also believe that he is the perfect Yankee. And I could say this thing. Look, there's been so many great players who went through Yankees.
Yeah.
Of course, you know that illustrious history of this franchise.
Yes.
But there's two players that I can say that of, and maybe perhaps because I know them both. I've been around them both, and one of them is Derek Jeter. All right, that's a perfect Yankee. But then
100%. The man, yeah, that's the
you
captain.
know it. I mean, when you
Yeah.
look at perfect careers,
Yes.
that's one of
Yes.
those careers that you would pick out, Derek Jeter. Now, I will not throw that phrase around lightly. Perfect Yankee. Well, with Aaron Judge, man, he's a perfect
Yeah.
Yankee. He's a
He
perfect Yankee.
is.
I cannot, I mean, certainly I can see him in another uniform. I don't like it, and I don't
Yeah.
think baseball likes it. So I think the Yankees are going to do everything they can to sign him back. That
Yeah.
that is the absolute truth. And I think Cashman and um, Stan Briner family as well has made it very clear that they're going to do their best to have him back in pinstripes.
Yeah, I feel that at this point, it's what you said. This is a business. It's not even a baseball decision anymore. It's a business decision. The Yankees, obviously, like a lot of other teams, they have their own network. They have the Yes Network. The ratings, I believe, are at an all-time high this year because of Aaron Judge, because of the chase that he had going this year, trying to chase Roger Maris's AL home run record. The stadium was packed. They
Yeah.
have a freaking section called the judges' chambers. The Yankees have never done that with a player where they gave the player their own section. He has a section called the judges' chamber. I don't know if you've seen it, Carlos. It's super dope.
So
It
cool,
looks like
man.
it literally looks like a courtroom. The fans go in. They have judges' robes. They have gavels. It is amazing. And the Yankees don't really do that. The Yankees are very traditional when it comes to things like that. So for them to do something like that, they really know the value that Aaron Judge holds. And the fact is that you're gonna see a lot of number 99 jerseys all over the place. Not just here in New York. You're gonna see it all over
Everywhere.
the country, all over the world. Again, you look at Aaron Judge. The man is larger than life. He's 6'7". Good
Yep.
looking dude. So well spoken. Just and you, it's funny, you were comparing him to Derek Jeter. You know how he reminds me a lot of Derek Jeter? He reminds me a lot of Derek Jeter in the sense when you see him get interviewed, he always listens to the question. He doesn't react. He listens. He pauses. Then he speaks. It's one of these things where I'm like, man, this guy went to the Derek Jeter School of Media because that's the one
Yep.
thing, Carlos. And I know you've played in a lot of places, and you've played against the Yankees. You've played in Boston. You played all over this. You know how media is, especially here in New York. The media can be crazy. It can
Hmm.
be tough. So to have Aaron Judge there taking all these questions, being part of this ball club, handling all that, but doing it with the class, I think that's priceless. And I agree. He has to be back in pinstripes. There is no other play here. And I think MLB would benefit from it. The sport of baseball, not even Major League Baseball, the sport of
Yeah.
baseball would
Sport.
benefit
Yep.
having a guy like Aaron Judge be its face. Because let's be real, baseball right now is at a crossroads when it comes to popularity as a sport in this country. And I wouldn't want any other ambassador carrying the name and the face of baseball other than Aaron Judge. And he
No,
knows it, and the Yankees know it, and I think all the other players know it, and they see it as well. But just to end this conversation, a huge, huge congratulations to you, Aaron Judge. You deserve it.
indeed.
You've put in the work, and we are all super happy and super proud of you. As a Yankee fan, as a baseball fan, and as just a regular guy, man, congratulations. You deserve it,
Yes,
brother.
seriously, man. Absolutely. Hats off and looking at one of the best seasons we've ever witnessed, really, in the history of the game.
Definitely.
Pretty much at the top, leading the
Yeah.
league in most offensive categories. And like you
He should
said,
have two MVPs, because they his rookie year, he won rookie of the year, and he went up against Altuve. Altuve beat him. And I'll be honest with you, Carlos, Altuve shouldn't have won that year because he had Judge had him at war for every category in
yeah,
every war, and they gave it to Altuve. And obviously, 2017 was a very controversial year for the Astros because of things that were uncovered. You know what I mean? So that
yeah,
even makes it more where what you were talking about, negotiation table.
yes,
If Aaron Judge were to go to the Yankees and be like, hey, listen, I got two MVPs. I got the one that I just got, and I got the one from 2017. And not to mention a plethora of other little awards that I've gone along the way. That could have actually helped them at the negotiation table in a lot of ways, even through arbitration and everything. So, the man deserves everything he's getting, and I do predict that it's going to be a big deal. It's going to happen for him.
yeah.
Again,
I would, I
I'm
would.
I am I am on the team of him being back,
Okay,
just
I'll
like
say
you here in
this.
the Bronx.
I'll tell you this, and this is the way we end it, this conversation, because we'll go around all day talking about it. He becomes the highest paid Yankee right now.
Yeah.
So do the math.
Oh,
Do the math, because Garrett Cole is in there. He eclipses Garrett Cole. Let's stop right there, and let's go to the next segment. What you got?
all right. Well, okay. So, just to keep the theme going with Aaron Judge, we got a question from Ben in Teaneck, New Jersey. He asked, Carlos, what adjustments did Aaron Judge make on his approach this season compared to what he did in the past?
Yeah, this is a great question, and we've been looking at it very closely. And you know how I am, Rod. I'm analyzing everything, not
Yeah.
only through the lens of my own experience, experiential, um, being out there playing and experiencing what it's like to be in a batter's box, and having gone through my own struggles also gives me that type of perspective. But I also study a lot, and I go into it scientifically and statistically, looking at what Aaron Judge was able to do. And let me tell you, he has made incredible adjustments.
Hmm.
There's some of them that are very well documented. You've seen his swing coach in Instagram everywhere, which is
Yeah.
kind of unorthodox because they're teaching you to do this, when you swing and you see that the dipping of the shoulder, and you're like, wait a second, we're teaching kids how to to dip their shoulder. Like, I thought you needed to stay level with the pitch. Remember, on our last episode, we talked about how principles are few and methods are many. Let's just say that this is one of those methods that has worked with Aaron Judge. Now, let me tell you why. So there's a couple of things. We say timing is one of those principles. His timing has been better. He's gotten started earlier than in years past. So that
Yes.
alone gives him more time to hit. Hitters, when we have more time to hit, we immediately improve. Period. Now, the swing change or the swing adjustments that he's been working on have helped him be in line with the way the league usually pitches, which is that middle away fastball, occasional hanging sliders,
Yeah.
and that in between speeds. So the swing plus the timing adjustment. Now we see Aaron Judge exploding into one of the best offensive seasons ever in the
Ever.
history of the
Yeah.
sport. He himself said this. He said that, hey, I did not hit, he's being humble, I did not hit 62 home runs. The pitchers threw 62 home runs. And that is very key there. He's alluding to the fact that the pitchers made mistakes. There's a lot more to that that he could possibly imagine, but he's right. But the one thing we have to do is give credit to the fact that he positioned himself to be able to be in the middle of traffic at the right place at the right
The right
time
time. Yeah.
to be able to hit those home runs. And pitchers, yes, they came into his trap.
Yeah.
So, does that answer the question?
I
Kind
think
of?
it does. I
All right.
think Ben from Teaneck, New
He's
Jersey would
satisfied?
agree that I think he's satisfied. And just to jump on that, what you were talking about, and like obviously I've seen a majority of Aaron Judge's games this year, and one of the amazing things that I saw from him, and critique me if I'm wrong, is he did not deviate from his plan. Speaking on the approach, he would go in to the batter's box. He knew his zone, he knew his wheelhouse, and he stuck to it. I think that's a major reason why the man cut down on his strikeouts a lot. That's why his average went up a lot. He pretty much with his stance and his approach told the pitchers, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm going to swing at. Throw it here if you want, but I'm not going to chase. I am not going to chase. And he didn't do that. And it's amazing. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I think this year that he had is one of these things that it's a rarity in baseball to see. It's a hitter that knew what he wanted to do and he did it. He
Now,
did it.
now this is a caveat because when you saw the success that he had during the regular season, so listen to this very carefully. We're talking about a huge sample size. So the regular season allows you to play percentages. So you go out there 162 games, you have over 500 plate appearances, okay? And you stay within that approach that we're talking about, that cadence, that swing plane, that timing mechanism. And you know that over the course of the entire season, there are going to be a lot of pitchers that are going to throw their pitches within the parameters that Aaron Judge has set. What
Mm-hmm.
happened in the postseason when they face a superior pitching staff that has an idea on how to not fall into Aaron Judge's trap. Then they were able to kind of neutralize him in a sense, and Aaron was not able to produce the way he wanted to in the postseason. That is not arbitrary. He was attacked differently, and Aaron was not able to adjust quick enough to hit the Houston Astros staff. So keep that in mind because this is a great theme because we're talking about baseball here, but in
Yeah.
business, in life, yeah, there's certain principles like discipline, like hard work,
Yes.
like being efficient, that are always going to work. But the methods that we utilize need to change depending in the circumstance that we're in. Um,
Yeah.
and as hitters, that is very, very important. In other words, if I'm facing Verlander, I have to approach Verlander differently than I would approach maybe an average rookie that just came up from the minor leagues. You know,
Yes.
very important to take the fight to the pitcher instead of waiting for him to come to you and maybe fall in your trap.
Yeah.
So this is very key. It's kind of advanced, but at the same time, we see it happen over and over again. This is how the Houston Astros were able to neutralize um, Judge in a sense, is because you cannot wait these guys out. They're not going to fall
No.
into your trap. They know your trap, and they pitched them differently. And Judge was not able to take the fight to them as he would have liked. So I
Right.
know that that's one of those things that he's working on right now in the offseason because the guy does not stop working.
No.
And that's why what makes him so valuable and so special.
Now, Carlos, you were talking about being efficient. You were talking about how important that is and to have that approach. And that sounds like something that has to do with our quote of the day. Is that correct, Carlos?
That is correct. We were looking at Occam, which talks about we talk about Occam's razor, right? And it's William of Occam, and his quote. This is the quote. It says, "It is in vain to do with more what can be done with less. It is in vain to do with more what can be done with less." So when we talk about being efficient and being
Yeah.
effective, these are not these are not the same thing. Okay, you can be effective and get the job done, and be so inefficient that it took you all day, that it took all your resources, that you gave it, all your best efforts and beyond, and you got the job done, but you wasted a lot of time. You wasted a lot of your resources. You went 10 different routes until finally you found the right one, which sometimes we have to go through that trial and error. It's part of life.
Yeah.
However, ideally, what you want to be is efficiently effective or effectively efficient. You want to be both at the same time. That's the ideal thing to do in life, in baseball, in business.
Yeah.
That's what you want to aim for. And it goes down to this 80-20 rule, that where we're thinking that 80% of our productivity, everything, 80% of our success happens because of 20% of what we do. Think about that for a second. So that means that we spin our wheels 80% of the time, and then 20% of our efforts is precisely what makes our production, what we produce.
Yeah.
So if that is true, that means that we have to be very intentional of making sure that we take a look at what is working, what is the correct way to do things, so that way we're more, yeah, we're going to be efficient and effective at the same time. That is a beautiful aim, to be
Yes.
uh, effectively efficient and efficiently effective.
Effective. That
Yes,
sounds like a
sir.
T-shirt. We need to put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah, I think
Available
you're up
on
on that.
On
Let's
the
go.
Plakata store soon. Available on the
Yes.
Plakata soon. I can see us with a fitted that said that as T-shirt. I think we got something there, Carlos.
Yes,
Copyright
we
that.
do. So why don't we take that? And that's precisely what we do. Let's take that into the week. Let's take that into the week. How can I
Yes.
let's keep our eye out to look at those things that really, really are productive and really, really matter. Basically eliminating the unnecessary so that the necessary comes to light. And we
Yeah.
focus on those essential things, instead of wasting our times with things that really have no value whatsoever.
And you know what? That's so true. And you can adapt that to so many aspects in your life. You may not think like it's kind of like when you're home. I fall into this trap all the time. I'll be honest with you. I'm not perfect at this at all.
Oh,
This
yes, we all
podcast
do.
is teaching me a lot more than the listeners even think. I'm learning as you listen and as you watch, I'm learning myself. There's times where I'm home and I'm on my phone, I'm on YouTube going through shorts, and I fall
Ah.
into what I call a YouTube rabbit hole. And I just watch a ton of videos. Y'all know, do not judge me because y'all do the same thing, okay? So it's like I fall through that. But then what you're saying, it's poignant and it resonates with me because what you're telling me is, Rodney, position yourself to win. Put yourself in a position
Yeah.
to be better. 1% better is better than no percent. You know what I mean? And that's what this is about. Whether you're on the baseball field, whether you're in the meeting at work, whether you're at home with your family, you know what I mean? These are little things to put yourself in a position to be a better you later on.
You
And
know,
that's what this is all about.
yeah, right. I mean, it applies to everything. I had a young man come to me last week. I was in Northeastern University, and there were some high school students that were visiting, and they were about to apply. And one of them came up to me, was a baseball player, and says, "Look, my grades are good. I'm having trouble writing my essay because I want to see if I can get into this university, and it's a very difficult university to get into." And we talked a little bit. It's like, okay, so how are you gonna? Okay, you want to write a better essay for your application, but how do you become a better writer? Let's talk about that, because this is what you want. But now let's put action behind that wish. Let's put a little
Yeah.
hustle behind the dream, right?
Yeah.
So he said, okay, so tell me, how do you do it? It's like, okay, how are you reading? And he's like, I'm not much of a reader. I'm like, how can you be a good writer if you don't learn from other writers? And the only way to learn from writers is to read their stuff. So I'm like, I'm not a
Yes.
good reader. I'm not a good reader. I'm like, let's do this. Instead of saying that, why don't you start reading, a page a day? So, God, a page a
Yeah.
day, that doesn't do anything. Man, a page a day. Just start reading one page a day. Can you do that? It'll take you 3 minutes. Like, that's nothing. And I said, yes, it is. And I gave him this example. I said, if you're able to improve 1% per day, then in 70 days, you would be twice as good as you are today. Have you thought about
Wow.
that for a second? I mean,
Wow.
think about it. So, incremental gains compound interest. These are great, great principles and ideas to apply to your own
Wow.
life. And this quote, it is vain to do more uh, with what can be done with less, is
Wow.
outstanding. And that
It's
was
being
my advice to
effective.
them. It's being effective,
Being
efficiently
effective.
effective, and
Efficiently
effectively
effective.
efficient.
Efficient. Oh man, that is a shirt. That is a t-shirt waiting to happen. Like, I could just see a bunch of people at the gym right now. And they just go this on their chest. Oh my God,
Yes.
man. I can
Well,
see it.
guys, there you have it. Let's take that into the day. Let's be effectively efficient as we go through this week. Thank you so
Facts.
much for joining us
100.
in Plakata Nation podcast. And we can't wait to have you for our next episode next week. All right. So take care
Peace
and let's
out.
go Plakata all week.
Congrats, Aaron Judge. You got this, bruh. Woo!